Meet us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. Hey guys, meet Moto G 2014 second generation. Whichever you want to call it, this is the second generation of the Motorola mid-ranger. They have a distinct three lineups starting from Moto E, Moto G, and the Moto X. They all have the 2014 second generation, except for the Moto E that's going to come very soon. Aside from that, they have a Verizon Wireless exclusive Droid series in the stateside, but that's not the point here. This is mid-ranger of Motorola, and this is their latest. Brazil and China is getting a 4G LTE version for now. They don't have the 2014 edition of 4G network, so this is 3G only. So let's take a look at it with philfromundercage.com. Alright, we got a receiver on the top, 2 megapixel front-facing camera, and the 5 inches of a 720p display. This is a distinct upgrade from the previous generation of the Moto G that had a smaller display, but is keeping the same resolution. And there's a speaker. Speaker has moved from the back to the front, so you can have more, you can have a richer sound. And on the right, we got a power key, volume rocker, earphone jack, and the usual suspects, along with the micro USB port around there with the microphone. And it's very basics. And on the back side, we got a camera. Camera is also upgraded from 5 megapixels to 8 megapixels over here. LED flash and the Motorola logo right there. That has a little space here so you can rest your finger. It doesn't read your fingerprint, so don't take it as fingerprint sensors on the other phones. But it's got a plastic rubberish back over here. They're actually selling the one called the Motorola Shell, so you can replace this to the other colors like red, yellow, or whichever. They actually have tons of colors, along with the flip cover that you can use as well. And surprisingly enough, this battery cover is replaceable, so you can detach the battery cover, but that doesn't mean that you can have the access to the battery itself. If you want to replace your battery, you will have to send it to their services, so it's not user replaceable. Beyond the battery cover is a SIM card slot over here. It's actually slots. It's a dual SIM variant. It will depend on which model that you get, but this is dual SIM. Keep in mind that not 3G can be active in the same time. Once it's a 3G, the other has to be on 2G and vice versa. But both of the SIMs are 3G capable, so you can choose between which to use as a 3G network. And beyond this battery cover over here lies a 2070 milliamps of battery. That is not a single bit of an upgrade from the previous generation, and with the same capacity of battery and the bigger size of the screen, does not sound very good, and we'll talk about this very soon. So this is a 5-incher, and Motorola is actually bumping up their screen sizes for quite a bit now. This is another 5-incher Samsung Galaxy S4 and an iPhone 6. So it's pretty much a standard size for the 5-inchers. It's nothing big, nothing small, nothing spectacular with slim bezels or anything like that. So this is a Moto G, and taking a look at the inside gives you a very Google stock Android looking. So this is a lock screen, and this is even called the Google Now Launcher. That's a very stock from the vanilla Android. It comes shipped with the Android 4.4. There are regions with the Android 5.0.2 releases coming. Some of you actually have it, but I actually tried the latest 5.0 updates, but they were not exactly as good as I thought, so I rolled back to the Android KitKat, so that's what we have now. The launcher itself and pretty much everything is intact stock, except for a few little things that Motorola have added. For the Moto X wise, there are a lot more features that Motorola has added, like instant. When you pick your phone up from the floor, it lights you up with the latest notifications. But Moto G, it doesn't have any fancy functions like that. Some of the Motorola functions that they have added is Motorola Privacy, or the Motorola Assist, or Migrate. Those are very little apps that does not exactly have a big impact on it. Everything is stock and has a Snapdragon 400 processor and a gigabyte of RAM, which is not exactly spectacular, but that's pretty much enough for you to expect from $179.99 product. So getting into CPU-Z, we have the usual suspects, Snapdragon 400, gigabyte of RAM, and it comes with 8 gigabytes of storage. So if you want to expand that, there is actually a micro SD card slot on top over here, so you can add your external storage. As we all know, Motorola is actually very well known for their Android optimization, and this is no exception. Web browsing, anything, game, unless it's a hardcore 3D gaming, everything is pretty much flawless, but you will do get lagged because of that 3G speed on the network. So if you're on the Wi-Fi, everything's going to load a lot faster and you'll be a lot happier, so keep in mind of that. Software itself is very clean, neat. I really liked it a lot, but there are a few things that I didn't like. First, to start with, is the keyboard and the touchscreen. The touchscreen is not as responsive as I wanted it to be. You will occasionally get typos, and when you're using the multi-touch keyboards, it's not going to react as you want it. The touches are going to bounce here and there, so you'll have to look where you're typing in. And also the camera is another feature. They actually upgraded the camera a lot, from 5 megapixels to 8 megapixels. Numbers don't exactly matter that much, but photo quality wise, they have been a lot they had gone a lot better from the previous Motorola's. We actually used to call Motorola's not having a camera, but now they actually have a camera. For indoors, they're actually pretty decent pictures. They're not as good as the Samsung Galaxies or the iPhones, but they're actually usable now. On the outer sunlight, it's a lot better. On the lower lighting condition, it's not as good as in the other conditions, but it's still a good camera for a Motorola, that's no doubt. What about the sound? Sound has gotten a lot better too. They actually have their own sound improvement functionality as they used to, and sound is a lot more solid and a lot clearer than they used to be before. On the Android side, it's always a Samsung or the LG or Sony that's good with the sound. Motorola is not as good as the other competitors, but they're actually, so to say, listenable, kind of. But the biggest disappointment that I had with the Moto G 2014 was the battery life. With about the 40 to 50% of the screen brightness over here, we managed to get about 3 hours, 2.5 hours to 3 hours of a screen on time. They actually drain battery like crazy. This is mainly due to the screen size that they bumped up but remained battery capacity. Usually the screen is the one that sucks up the battery the most, and if you are keeping the same amount of the battery, the results are as expected. And that came with no surprises, and the battery is not very good. Overall, Moto G 2014 is an amazing phone for $179.99, but that bigger screen gives us more typos, surprisingly, because multi-touch is not precise enough than the previous generation, and the battery life was a lot more disappointing than the previous generation. So I'm not really sure. This does give a visual impact of a 5-inch display with that affordable price, but the battery time and the screen precision and overall kind of makes us doubt if this is the phone you will want to get. We're actually kind of thinking that maybe the previous generation 4G model is even better than this guy. So we kind of expected a lot, maybe, because Motorola was known for a good Android phone for an affordable price. We actually, for the previous generations of the devices or the other Moto X that we have reviewed, we gave an amazingly good impression about it. But Moto G 2014, we're not really sure. There are plenty of options out there, so you might want to take a look at the other options as well before you choose this affordable from Motorola. So that was Moto G 2014. Stay tuned. We'll come back very soon. Bye.